Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the internal revolution. Is it going to start in 2023 or 2024? I'm going to show you several reasons why it might actually start this year or early 24. And then I'll show you one reason why maybe not, okay? But as watchmen, our job is to do that, to watch. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch and see if these things I'm talking about could be starting the internal revolution. Okay, these are the scenarios. One is currently the Washington, D.C. indictment could refuse to move the trial. Maybe the military takes over. Or Trump uses subpoena power in that trial to expose cheating. I can talk about that. And then the public demands Biden's removal, but the Dems refuse and military takes over. Or Trump is actually found guilty and the military takes over to stop it. Or Trump is found guilty, but he's not allowed to run and military takes over. Or Trump wins 2024, but the Dems cheat again, military takes over. Or Trump loses in 2024, and the military finally just says we've had enough, and they just simply take over. So there's 6 possible scenarios. I've asked God many times what causes a revolution, when does it start, and in his infinite wisdom, he's chosen not to tell me. He keeps his secrets very close. Okay, so this is the one that tends to say, no, it's not yet. I'm not going to cover all of this. I've covered it many times. March 25th, 2022, Chris Reed had an angel visit him. The angel had a $50 bill in his hand, and he tore off 1/3 of it. People started handing him newspapers. The first part of the newspaper said, the U.S. dollar drops 30% in value, and in my opinion, we're probably looking at that start this year, possibly even in August or September. Really close. But then I'm going to skip the next several ones. It does say food shortages coming. Then it says Israeli-Palestinian 2-state solution reached, big earthquake. Then, after that, for the 5th one is America in pieces, more states secede, and probably Texas will be one of them. And then U.S. military takes charge. So that tends to say, yes, not yet. Maybe not even in 2024, maybe not even 2025. I don't know. I like to know. God just refuses to tell me. Now, let me refresh your memory. In my opinion, Dumitru Duduman is the most credible source outside of the King James Bible. You can get the DVD at prophecyclub.com, or you can watch it instantly at watchprophecyclub.com. It's called Wake Up America. Now, I'm not going to read all this. You can pause and read the whole thing. I've read it, quoted it many times. But the point I want to make today is in the second line. The angel said to Dumitru, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Now, that's the point. So let's back up to these scenarios. When it says started by the communists, which one of those scenarios could it be? Could it be the Washington, D.C. refuses to move the trial because of the communists? Could it be the subpoena power that causes it? In other words, is it the good guys kicking out the bad guys as the internal revolution? Or is it the bad guys kicking out the good guys? I want to think it's the good guys kicking out the bad guys, and that's started by the communists here. Now, keep that in mind. Then we go to Hal Turner. Latest indictment against Trump backfires. It gives Trump the ability to re-litigate the entire 2020 election and possibly prove cheating. I can't say that word. The deep state and Democratic political thugs doing their best to stop President Trump from being reelected may have wrecked their own effort with the third and latest indictment against President Trump. I'd like to think that this is the hand of God based upon our prayers to have righteousness in our nation. The latest indictment directly involves the January 6th protest at the Capitol, a protest that challenged the legitimacy of the November 2020 election. As a result of the latest indictment, Trump now has subpoena power for his case. What does that mean? It means that they can call people into court, documents, records, bank statements. They can call into court and they have to show up and they have to tell the truth, or they can be put in jail for lying into the court. Trump now has subpoena power for his case. With subpoena power, he can subpoena everything the deep state Democrats and their black robe bimbos in the courts tried to keep off the record and tried to keep secret. That's big. That could cause the internal revolution. That is, if you think that it's the good guys kicking out the bad guys. Trump's attorney, John Lauro, made clear this is precisely what the Trump team intends to do when he remarked, "We now have the ability in this case to issue our subpoenas, and we will re-litigate every single issue in the 2020 election." Could it be that this finally reaches, along with what Comer is doing against Biden with all of his Hunter issues and that sort of stuff? Could it be something pops up that finally the military and the American people said, that's it. We've had enough. Time out. We're taking over. It gives President Trump the opportunity, which you've never had before, which is to have subpoena power. That's big. That's huge. He gives 4 instances. I'm going to just cover one. He says all of California's 55 electors were chosen with ballots that, according to the California state election law, quote, cannot be voted or counted in any election, unquote, because they omitted 2 required notices on all the printed ballots. State election law requires certain notifications to appear on each printed ballot, and the law itself states that, quote, no ballot without the required wording shall be voted or counted in any election, unquote, and that made all 55 of California's electoral votes void. Now, what does that mean? So, if 55 electronic ballots or electoral votes are removed, what does that do? So, Biden had to have 270 to win. If you remove 55, all of a sudden, that would give Trump the victory. Then what happens? Internal revolution? I don't know. Will the Dems leave peacefully? I don't know. I'm only saying, as watchmen, we've got to be good watchmen. We've got to watch carefully to see what this means. Now, let's go on. Now, Trump has the federal subpoena power to go after all of it and must be entered into the record at the criminal trial because it goes to intent. Trump's state of mind. It will show that the intent of the defendant, Trump, was to stop the cheating and not commit some crime against the country. And when all this evidence gets brought to trial, it establishes, quote, reasonable doubt, which under Trump must be acquitted. Yes, it looks like the deep state Democrats and the cesspool of judges at the state and federal level really made a mistake. They may have opened up a can of worms. That's going to be a big problem. It may lead to the internal revolution. Now, I do not know, but as watchmen, that's what we do. We watch. So let's watch. Now let me jump to Shane Warren. Yes, he made this DVD, which you can watch instantly at watchprophecyclub.com, July the 10th, 2012. But he had the vision in 2010. He saw that our dollars are going to eventually be worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. We've covered this many, many times. The first thing that causes them to start falling is when they start selling oil in a currency other than dollar, which happened August 24th, 2022, when Saudi Arabia signed a deal with the Russians to let the Russians be their protector rather than the U.S. And now there are some countries that have started buying oil in a currency other than the dollar. Now, here's my point. If you look at the very bottom, the devaluing of the dollar, which caused the dollar to devalue, we've got many, many prophecies that said dollar's going to go down 30%, 50%, 66%, and eventually worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. The devaluing of the dollar caused major rioting, and the major rioting caused basically an internal or civil war. He also says, I saw silver, not gold, but I saw silver begin to drastically increase in value, not gold, but silver. And for that, we'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Ask them. They can give you financial advice. You know, if you've got some kind of money in the bank, you don't want to lose it. Okay, well, all right, so if the value drops 30% and you got it in gold or even better, silver, what happens to yours? It might be, I mean, I'm not giving advice, but it might be that it starts going up. Did you catch that? So you got money in the bank. You call cornerstoneassetmetals.com and you put some of that money in silver. When everybody else's drops 30%, silver's going to start going up. I mean, just my guess, I'm not guaranteeing anything. They said it was literally civil war. The devaluing of the currency of America, buying oil with another currency, started it all. Now, we are at the door. Matter of fact, the BRICS countries are supposed to be having a meeting, I believe it's August 22nd, to discuss precisely this. Some people say they aren't going to discuss it. They'd already made up their mind. They're just going to start using a currency other than the dollar. Now, I normally cover very little from Newsmax, but this is a good one. Trump calls for federal takeover of D.C., change of venue. Now, the question is, what is his intent? Is he simply saying this because he wants them to move the trial? Or is he suggesting a military takeover of D.C.? Let's read it. Former President Donald Trump, ahead of his arraignment in Washington, D.C., insisted a change of venue is needed because getting a fair trial is impossible in Washington, D.C., noting that he has called for a federal takeover of the nation's capital. Now, hang on. Let me read that again. What does that mean? He's called for a federal takeover of the nation's capital. Is he calling for simply a move of venue? Or did he let it slip? Did he let it slip because that's in the back of his mind to have a federal takeover of the nation's capital? We know that the internal revolution is coming. We've known that since 1984 when Dumitru was told. I heard it in 1987. We've known it. Now, let me read that again because that's really important. He's called for a federal takeover of the nation's capital. I'll say it again. Listen carefully. Trump has called for a federal takeover of the nation's capital. The question is he simply asking for a change of venue? Or is he actually asking the military to go in and take over? Let's go on with the article. The latest fake case brought by crooked Joe Biden and deranged Jack Smith will hopefully be moved to an impartial venue, such as the politically unbiased and nearby state of West Virginia. Trump wrote on Truth Social, railing against the president, his special counsel, and the, quote, anti-Trump city of D.C. the night before his arraignment. He added, it is impossible to get a fair trial in Washington, D.C. Now, that makes us think he's talking about just a move of venue. But hang on. Which is over 95% anti-Trump and for which I have called for a federal takeover. What? I have called for a federal takeover in order to bring our capital back to greatness. I'll read it again. He added, it's impossible to get a fair trial in Washington, D.C. Okay, we got it. He's talking about change of venue, which is over 95% anti-Trump and for which I have called for a federal takeover in order to bring our capital back to greatness. See what I'm saying? Is he calling for a change of venue and threatening that? Or did something slip that he wasn't intending? He goes on to say, it is now a high crime embarrassment to our nation and indeed the world. This indictment is all about election interference. In a separate post early Thursday, Trump said the radical left wants to criminalize free speech. And of course, we know that. As a matter of fact, one of the platforms, YT, I won't mention the name, deleted us. I can't even say part of what I'm saying. And they said we broke their rules. We didn't break their rules. We didn't post for 62 days. If you don't post, you can't break their rules. But that didn't stop them. They just deleted us. We put on, I guess it's okay to say this, we put on Twitter asking them, just here in the last week, please put us back on. And they said, well, give us a couple of days. A couple of days later, they responded and basically said, no, we already looked into it. Decision's final. So I asked her to put back asking them again, please give us the video and the time code where we broke your rules, because I know it doesn't exist. I know we didn't break their rules. But see, in America, you don't have the right to free speech. I think it was who said, give me liberty or give me death? Well, there was another one that said, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Well, in America, we don't have free speech anymore. We have approved speech. If you say what they want you to say, you're in good standing. If you don't say it, they simply delete you. Let's go on. Trump won West Virginia in his 2016 election, about 42 percentage points, and took the state in 2020 with 68.6%. West Virginia, a strong red state, has not elected a Democrat for president since President Bill Clinton in 1996, according to the New York Times. The courthouse where Trump is being arraigned is located between the Capitol and the White House, and Wednesday afternoon, police put up a security fencing around the government building. Can you imagine that? So that's saying that we know we're doing something that the people will not approve. We've got to fence you out. You're not going to like this. So we're taking over. We're pushing the people. So the tail is wagging the dog. So the people in government are telling the people what they're going to do, and they just lock the people out. The indictment is Trump's third in recent months. He was indicted in Manhattan in April on charges related to the falsification of business records, and in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida in June, where he is charged with allegedly mishandling classified documents kept at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Let me go back to the scenarios again. So, Washington refuses to move the trial to a new venue. Military says, that's it. We're taking over. Trump uses subpoena power, pulls in documents, pulls in people. The whole public sees it. They see the dastardly thing that the bad guys did. I've got to choose my words very carefully, because we don't have free speech in our nation anymore. But the Dems refuse. Military says, yes, you are going to do it right. Military takeover. Internal revolution. Or Trump is found guilty, which you can pretty much guarantee that he will if they don't move it. All of a sudden, the military says, not going to happen. Internal revolution. Or Trump is found guilty, but they say, and that means you can't even run for president. Military says, we're not going to put up with that either. Takes over. Finally, Trump loses 2024. Military says, no, he didn't lose. We're taking over. So there's 6 realistic scenarios. I want to remind you also, Prophet Andre Bronkhorst prophesied to me and Leslie August 7th, 2019. He says, he called you a man after his own heart because you will do whatever he wants you to do. You will do it. And you know that's true. It's never been about your name or to be seen. You've been through tremendous tests, which is very true. But today, as a couple, you've passed those tests. They will help you. They will support you. Now, I believe that that's talking about becoming a member of Prophecy Club. You remember a couple of weeks ago, Jason Meeks, prophet, had a dream, and it was shown that if you want Prophecy Club to be there as you go through the coming trouble, then we need to get everybody to join as a member and set up an automatic payment, automatic donation of $9.90 by having a lot of people giving just $9.90. You can give more, of course, but at least $9.90. That means the Prophecy Club is going to be there for you in the trouble ahead, which is when you really want to know what God is saying. You really want to hear those warnings in the time of great trouble. In other words, that dollar drops down 30%. That's time you really want to hear from Prophecy Club. And that's the reason I'm encouraging everybody, just drop right down here. See that QR code right there at the bottom? Hit that QR code. Just pull up your camera, okay? Take a picture. It'll jump up. You touch that little yellow thing or however your phone works, and you can set up. You can increase it, decrease it, remove it anytime you want to. You're in charge. No one's going to send you an email saying, hey, you didn't give. No, none of that stuff. You're in charge. Because I think this is what the Lord is. You might say, as it just said, last night I've been tested, we passed the test. I think it's a test. I think God may be saying to Prophecy Club people, you want me to speak to you in the time of trouble. You want me to provide for you in the time of trouble. Are you willing to take care of my watchmen in the time of trouble? And that's what he's asking you to do by this dream. Take care of my watchmen in the time of trouble, $9.90 a month. You can stop it anytime you want to. Can't do it 1 month? Stop it. It's your choice. So the prophecy says they will help you. They will support you. There's many things, and by the way, I also want to say I'm humbled by how many people have. A lot of people have, and I understand that it has been good, but it's not what we would need to make it in a time of trouble. Anyway, there's many things you've said over the years that's connected you to these people. True. People that have left you because of what you said. And he didn't know us. He didn't know our ministry. He has prophesied this. But suddenly it's coming into fulfillment. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing right now a lot of the things that we've been talking about for the last 30 years are at the door. It's not over the horizon someplace. It's at the end of the block. It's about to be at the front door. But suddenly it's coming into fulfillment. They're witnessing. They're seeing the fulfillment of that. They're returning, and suddenly relationships are being restored because they will say, you were right. It happened exactly as you said. God is going to send back people and put back people in your life. But it's important right now, this season is sons and daughters. They need to stand up. They need to stand up. This is an encouragement from God. Take care of my watchmen if you want me to take care of you in the time of trouble. If you're a watchman, if you want me to take care of you, take care of my watchmen. That's essentially what he's saying. So prophetically, I called them forth. I called the sons in. I called the daughters in. It's time for them to stand. Now, you can just click on that little QR code there at the bottom, and you can join. Which also, by the way, you go to prophecyclub.com. You can join Fast Track and Fast Gap. That's where we fast and pray for Prophecy Club, or for Fast Gap, praying for America. And I'd also recommend you go to josephskitchen.com. There's a time when a gold and silver coin won't get you where you want to go. A loaf of bread will. Can't eat gold and silver. josephskitchen.com. There's a time where a loaf of bread might not buy you that tank of gas, but a silver coin or two will get you where you want to go. I also recommend you go to empshield.com. Get you one of these things right here. One on your car, one on your house, so that when the EMP hits and the suitcase nukes, hopefully your car still starts. I also want to say one thing else. I love you guys. You guys have been super good to us. I look forward to seeing you in eternity. I look forward to us spending time together, rejoicing, dancing in a circle, and I get to meet all of you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. I love you.
Today, we live in unsettling times. Have you ever wondered what you're going to do when food is no longer on the shelves? I'm Leslie, owner and founder of Joseph's Kitchen, and I want to show you how to make healthy, homemade, whole wheat bread for only a few $100s a year. At Joseph's Kitchen, our goal is to help you live a more healthy and prepared life. Our products are ready for everyday use, but are also designed for long-term storage. Whether you are looking to make healthy, homemade, whole wheat bread, or want to be sure your family is prepared, Joseph's Kitchen is pre-packaged to take all the guesswork out. We personally test each harvest to make sure you are getting the highest quality ingredients.
Are you and your family prepared for what may lie ahead? At Joseph's Kitchen, we are your farm-to-table alternative. Go to josephskitchen.com to order today. And be sure to use the promo code on screen to receive your free gift. Don't get caught unprepared. Go to josephskitchen.com now.
CornerstoneAssetMetals.com is where I'll send you if you're thinking about getting gold or silver. I think everybody should have at least a fistful of gold and a fistful of silver, because there could be a time when you pull up to get gasoline and they might not want to take your loaf of bread, but you pull out a gold coin or a silver coin, you're probably able to get anything you want, even if the credit cards are down, even if the dollars are worthless. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Next is, I'll send you to EMPShield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery, you put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car. And the whole point is, when the electricity goes off, or when some kind of a suitcase nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy. I'll send you to solarsurge.net. Now, this guy, he's a good guy. He's been following Prophecy Club for, 10 years. And one day, probably 6 months ago, he called me. We got to talking, and I said, I've been thinking about getting this solar panel thing, but I don't know much about it. Tell me. Well, after he explained it to me, and I sent him my electrical bill for the last year, he calculated it all up, and he said, well, we got a plan C that is a low, the minimum you want. Got a plan B. We got a plan A. But at what is it, 3.9 or 4.9% interest over 25 years didn't cost you much, okay? And all of that, but the government gives you all kinds of tax deductions, money back. He's the expert. Joe Ordia is his name. SolarSurge.net. SolarSurge.net. Just say Prophecy Club or put in the promo code prophecy. You'll love the guy. Prophecy student. Yeah, as you talk to him, you'll say, oh yeah, he's one of us. He's a good guy. He's one of us. Give him a call. Secret door to understand Bible prophecy. It will help you to understand. It's not complicated, but it is deep, because to understand Bible prophecy, well, let's put it this way. I wish I had had the book 30 years ago. It would have helped me understand Bible prophecy. It would have put so many misunderstandings that I have had through the years in place. Matter of fact, when I started getting these 30 revelations, because I memorized the book of Revelation, I learned a lot. I learned a lot I did not know. I think I went to school with Jesus, and I don't think I'm something special. Matter of fact, I don't even think it came because I memorized the book of Revelation. I think you're something special. I think he gave the book to his end-time saints, his end-time watchmen, so that you can explain to people, so you can be a part of the great move of God, the great harvest, the thousands upon thousands of souls that are about to come to Jesus. And if you want to share in that harvest, you need to be able to explain Bible prophecy. And the Holy Spirit is not going to put up with you teaching a bunch of errors. You got to know what you got to know. And that is, you got to kick out that idea of thinking that there's going to be a pre-trib rapture. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's other things, you got to learn. And this is the reason I think he gave the book. Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com.